Same people who own the labels own the prisons.
I believe this to be true 100%. Let me tell you why. Story time. But wait, hold up. Before I get into the story, let me remind you that Kanye West, Meek Mill, Crazy Bone, and probably many more have already alluded to this as well. So if it wasn't true, why would so many different artists deep in the music industry be saying pretty much the same thing? So anyway, many years ago, I was talking to a producer who shall remain nameless, but he has worked with many famous people within the music industry. And I was telling him how we should really come together and start a movement with the youth and have them collaborate with some of the well-known artists that he knows to make positive and inspirational hip hop music. But that I was also aware of how wicked the music industry really is. And he was like, Brother Ward, you don't even know the half. So he went on to tell me how when he was coming up and he was starting to rise as a music producer, that out of the blue, this man approached him. And the man was an old white man who looked kind of scruffy, kind of frumpy. When the man approached him, he thought that the man might even be homeless. Anyway, come to find out that the man actually owned one of the major music labels. But he went on to tell this music producer that he wanted to invest in him, but that he didn't really make big money through the music label. He made big money through privatized prisons. And if this music producer that I knew would continue to make music that would encourage people to go to prison, he would invest in him. So this correlates exactly with what Ice Cube was saying. And he went on to tell me a whole lot more, which basically the elite or the Illuminati is real. But since I have your attention on this, let me tell you a quick story about myself and why I do what I do, why I make hip hop music with a spiritual, inspirational, and motivational message. It started many years ago when I grew up on the West Coast and I started rapping kind of as a hobby. I didn't really have any interest in being a leader, but even when I was running from my spiritual calling, the spirit would talk to me. And I was ruminating and I was thinking to myself and kind of praying, honestly, but I was saying to God, basically, man, this rap music has such a powerful influence on people, on my peers. Why doesn't anybody really say what needs to be said, what people need to hear instead of all this gang banging and killing and exploiting women and stuff? And the spirit told me very matter of factly, well, you can do it. Why don't you do it? You should do it. And ever since then, I've had many confirmations to continue to do it, to create music, specifically hip hop, that has the type of messages that people need to hear. But see, it's the love of money that's the root of all kinds of evil. So another quick story, when I started my journey of doing inspirational hip hop for the streets, it was definitely not the popular thing to do. And I performed on the West Coast at the West Coast Peace Tour in Portland, Oregon. And there was all kind of different artists from all over the West Coast there performing. And I was the only inspirational, positive messenger. And when I performed, everybody just stared at me and my music skipped. And my music was pretty mellow too. It was extremely awkward. And I'll admit I was nervous, and I was told that if you're nervous, look at the back of the room, don't look at anybody. But the spirit told me the opposite, to rap to each person in the crowd and single them out. So that's what I did. When I was done performing, almost one person from every group, many of the performers came to me individually, privately, and told me that what I said was the most real thing that they heard, or something like that. One of them even told me that he felt that he should do the same thing, but he wouldn't do it because he was afraid that he would not be successful or accepted and ridiculed. The last point that I want to make that's very important is that it's not just the artist's fault or even the industry's fault. The industry primarily cares about money. So the apathetic consumer is who really drives this industry. There are many dope and amazing, positive, inspirational, motivational, socially conscious, revolutionary artists, but they never get the support that they need and they deserve, because most people would rather complain about the negativity in hip hop instead of using that energy to support and promote the positive, inspirational, and powerful artists. So think about that, and please leave some comments. Let me know if you agree with what I'm saying, or even if you disagree, or whatever your thoughts may be on this topic. Peace and blessings.